Right now, I'm challenging myself to see if I can make 128 Regulation H teams that are each different from one another over the course of 128 days. Why 128, you might ask? At the end of the 128 days, we're going to do something special where we battle every team against each other in a single elimination bracket to see which team emerges on top. There will be some competitively strong teams, there will be some gimmick teams, and there will be some probably a good number of goofs and gaffs in there, so if you want to follow through to the end, subscribe so that you can keep up with each day. But without further ado, let's move on to day
10.
Alright everybody, welcome back to another video, and in today's video, I am very excited to bring back to you my good old friend, Anger Point Tauros, who's not currently on the screen because I made the Meowscarada first, but just for a bit of background reference, Anger Point Tauros was the first Gen 9 team that I used on the channel, and I still love the idea of using a Pokemon to side proc something on your other Pokemon, and then getting an attack boost and then just going absolutely crazy. And with so many speedy things out of the way, like Iron Bundle, and Flutter Mane, and Choice Scarf Urshifu, that we don't have to worry about anymore, Tauros is in a very nice spot right now, and I love it so much. So let's get into discussing the team here. First off, we have the Meowscarada. Now, Meowscarada is going to be using its signature move, Flower Trick, which always results in a crit and also doesn't have an accuracy check, which can be kind of handy in some scenarios. But we also have the Sucker Punch for dealing some good priority damage in case we need to get a Focus Sash on something that Tauros doesn't KO the first turn. And we also have the Knockoff in order to get rid of items. But on our Meowscarada set, we also have the Ally Switch, which with our Protean ability allows us to turn into a Psychic type, which can help out in some scenarios, but it also allows us to maybe help out Tauros a little bit where we can catch the opponent off guard. And our Focus Sash will make it so that we can always take one hit at least, and then our Terra type of Ghost makes it so that if there's any fake out users on the field, that we will be able to avoid them. Next up, the leading bull itself, we got Tauros Paldean Blaze form, which is a pretty long name. But on our Tauros Paldean Blaze form, we have its signature move, Raging Bull, which is a 90 base power fire type move on Blaze Tauros, which will destroy the user's screen. So even if they set up priority screens on this, it's not that big of a deal. And then we also have a lot of tight coverage moves in the Rock Slide, the Iron Head, and the Earthquake. And we don't have any fighting type moves on this Tauros, just because if we were, it would be close combat, and that would make Tauros less tanky. And there's not really a better move than close combat, so I just preferred to have the two forms of spread damage and then the Iron Head for the type coverage. Ground, Steel, and Rock hits a lot of types for super effective. And the main reason that we are using Tauros is the Anger Point ability, which if you take a critical hit, it will then max out your attack no matter what your attack was previously. So you can lead Meowscarada and Tauros, and you can side Flower Trick into the Tauros who resist it because it's a fire type, and then you will get a ×4 attack boost, which is epic. We also have the Covert Cloak so that Tauros isn't getting faked out at all, and we have the Terra Flying because flying, you only fear the rock, electric, and ice types, and Tauros is pretty easily able to deal with all of those. Supporting the Meowscarada and Tauros in the side, we have the first appearance of an Alolan Ninetales. Now, Alolan Ninetales is good because we can disrupt opponent weathers with our Snow Warning ability, which means that we won't be seeing sand, rain, or sun as long as we have Ninetales in the back and we can switch it in. And then with Ninetales, we have a very fast Blizzard that will be 100% accurate in the snow, as well as the ability to set up Aurora Veil to make all of our Pokemon much tankier. And lastly, we have the Freeze Stride, and then we have the Light Clay in order to extend the duration of Aurora Veil to be as long as possible, and we have the Terra Water because Terra Water gets rid of a lot of our weaknesses and gives us some good resistances. Next up in the snow category, we have Frostlass, and Frostlass is one of Ninetales' probably best friends whenever it comes to just building a snow team, because we have the ability Snow Cloak, which gives us an inherent chance to avoid some attacks and create some variability in games where we can then exploit it in order to get Frostlass into better scenarios. Our Frostlass is Choice Scarf because we can use it as another way to proc Tauros' Anger Point with the move Frost Breath, which always results in a crit. And then we have some good speed control options in the Icy Wind, and we also have the Switcheroo in case we want to put a Choice Scarf on something that really doesn't want to have a Choice Scarf on it, like a really slow Pokemon that wants to use a wide variety of moves. Or even if Dondozo is on the field, we can Choice Scarf into it, and then it won't be able to protect for the rest of the game. And then Shadow Ball is here for type coverage, but I feel like you could swap Shadow Ball out with something else that's a little bit more supportive. Next up, we have our first appearance of Palafin. I decided to slot Palafin on here because it would give us the Fire, Water, Grass core with Meowscarada, Tauros, and now Palafin. And Palafin is very good at what it does, is because as long as we can switch it out at least one time, then we'll be able to activate its 0 to Hero, which in case you don't know what 0 to Hero does, is Palafin gets much stronger whenever it comes back in the second time and is able to do a lot more damage. And with Jet Punch being a really strong Aqua Jet, Palafin can definitely deal out that damage, but we have the Wave Crash in case we need to do even more damage, and we have the Haze to get rid of any stat changes that happen. This is a little asynchronous with Tauros, but it is necessary in some endgames where we need to beat things such as Dondozo. And lastly, we have the Clear Amulet on Palafin. I wasn't quite sure what to give Palafin because it does have the Haze to get rid of Intimidates. However, I think the Clear Amulet giving you just the ability to click that Jet Punch into Incineroar right away, even though Incineroar is probably going to fake out you, but the ability to click that Jet Punch into Incineroar right away after clicking your Terra Water is really, really nice. And then lastly, we have a bit of a niche pick here. I decided to pick Rotom Frost as our last Pokemon because I wanted a Pokemon with the ability Levitate for whenever a Tauros gets off its attack boost and Meowscarada dies. That means we can Earthquake without hurting our own side. And let it be known, I really wanted to put Cryogonal on this team because Cryogonal is also a Levitate mon with the Ice typing that would benefit in Snow. And it does have Frost Breath to activate Tauros' Anger Point, however, it is exactly 5 speed points slower than Frostlass, and Frostlass also has the Ghost typing, so it doesn't have to worry about being faked out. So Cryogonal, you are a very close mon to being on this team. But more on Rotom here, we have really good Stab Volt Switch and Thunderbolt, as well as the Blizzard option for whenever we have Snow set up, we can always get Blizzards. And then we have the Foul Play in case we need to attack into something that already has its attack set up. And then the Assault Vest items makes it so that whenever we're in Snow, Rotom is actually very tanky, but it's also pretty fast. So yeah, that's the basic gist of the team. Let's get into some battles. Alright, so this first battle is against the team that has a lot to beat us here. They have the Talonflame, which can Tailwind in front of Meowscarada and Tauros, but it can also threaten the Brave Bird, which we don't like. So that beats our Meowscarada Tauros opening, and they also have the Decidueye, which can triple arrows our ghost types, so it also was Terrifier at the time. This is an open team sheet set that we're about to discuss. But they can triple arrows our ghost types and our ice types with pretty reckless abandon. They also have the Incineroar for faking out our mons, as well as they have the Gastrodon, which will completely negate any play of our Palafin on the field. As well as they have the Blood Moon Ursaluna, which in Tailwind will absolutely destroy anything on our team except for Meowscarada for one turn, just because Meowscarada has the Focus Sash. But let's get into this first game here. I decide to lead Palafin Rotom Frost, expecting that my opponent was expecting me to lead Meowscarada Tauros, and they do lead Talonflame Decidueye, which is better for us. I decide to swap in Tauros because I don't think that any meaningful attacks are going to go into that Tauros slot. They do Flare Blitz into Tauros though, which is kind of weird, as Rotom gets to full switch out, and it also takes the Talonflame with it, so we're not going to see any Tailwind from the Talonflame this game, as Palafin is now in complete form, and it does get crit by the triple arrows, as the opponent brings in Gastrodon to completely negate Palafin being here. I decide to swap in Meowscarada, and I go for the Earthquake to try and deal some damage into Decidueye, and Decidueye actually had Tailwind, which wasn't something that I noticed at the time, but now they have Tailwind up with Gastrodon, and Gastrodon just decides to recover some health because it needs to stay on the field for as long as possible. I ally switch in order to get Tauros to Earthquake again to take out Decidueye, and Gastrodon is now left on the field, and Gastrodon decides to yawn into what was previously Meowscarada, and now they get up the Pelipper as we switch back into Palafin, because Palafin's kind of useless at this point. I'm pretty okay with Palafin going down. But I Flower Trick into Gastrodon in order to get rid of it, so now Palafin can have play again, and we Sucker Punch Pelipper, and we get off the Jet Punch to do some chip damage here, but at this point the game is pretty much over because Tailwind is about to run out. I bring back in Rotom Frost, as the Pelipper has absolutely no way of beating Rotom, and Meowscarada ends the game with a Flower Trick. Going into the second set here, I was predicting that their adaptation was going to be leading Blood Moon Ursaluna, and then having either one of their, I think, 3 Tailwind setters to start the game. God, this team is so good into us. But we start the game with Palafin Rotom Frost because I'm still not super afraid, and they do lead Talonflame Ursaluna, which is our worst lead. They go for the Tailwind, but I try to Jet Punch down Talonflame for as much damage as I can get. They go for the Spread Hyper Voice, not quite sure what they were expecting there, but we get the Blizzard since Talonflame is already acted, and thankfully we landed it into both targets, which means that Talonflame is going to go down. They bring in Incineroar, which we get the stat drop blocked for, and I'm okay with protecting Palafin, and if they're going to Hyper Voice into Rotom, then I'm also okay with that. Because we get to stall some turns of Tailwind here at least. We're going to bring in Frostlass, as they can just Hyper Voice into Frostlass, but I'm predicting them here to... What am I thinking is going to happen here? I'm predicting Frostlass to at least still be faster than one of these Pokemon. So if they decide to attack into Tauros, so I can get the Anger Point off with Tauros here, I think? No, I switcheroo the Incineroar. Okay. I switcheroo the Incineroar because I want it to be locked into a move that can't hurt Tauros, so that I can get Tauros' ability activated. They knock off into Tauros, which gets rid of the Covert Cloak, and they bring back in Decidueye as they Earth Power into Tauros. What did I do? I Frost Breath into Ursaluna to take it out. Okay. And then Tailwind goes down, and now it is Palafin and Decidueye versus Incineroar and Decidueye. And I remember that my opponent's Incineroar is Choice Scarfed, so their ideal play here, if they realize it, is actually to use Decidueye to attack into Palafin, and then use Incineroar to attack into Frostlass. However, I'm kind of gambling on the fact that they just forgot that I'd Choice Scarfed their Incineroar, so instead I decide to protect with Palafin, and Incineroar does fake out into it, so Incineroar is useless for the rest of the game, as we get the Frost Breath crit into Decidueye, which takes it out. They triple arrows into us, and that always takes out the them there, but they're forced to fake out 4 forever on Incineroar, so we win the game because Decidueye has no form of priority on itself, and we Jet Punch Decidueye, and at this point the opponent understands that the game is over. So a bit dependent there on a 50-50 play whether or not the Incineroar would remember that it was Choice Scarfed, because the Incineroar would probably be faster, so if they decide to knock off into the Frostlass, then I should have used my Terra Steel for Frostlass in order to perhaps live, but they also could have Flare Blitzed with Incineroar, and if they were Flare Blitzing, then that means that I could have just Jet Punched into the Incineroar with Palafin. So, bit of a 50-50 play there, where I'm not exactly sure what the optimal choice was, but thankfully they just decided to absolutely brick their Incineroar with the Choice Scarf. Okay, our opponent has Barraskewda Rain. Not sure how fast Barraskewda is relative to Tauros, though, is the problem. They also have Propeller Tail to avoid us ally switching with Meowscarada. So I think our main thing that we have to be worried about here, I think I'm gonna start Frostlass, and then we're gonna have Meowscarada, and then Ninetales, and then we'll have Tauros in back, and hopefully that will see some play. Okay, they lead Archaludon in DD. Okay. They consume the Psychic Seed, so we can't switcheroo or Choice Scarf onto them. However, Archaludon... they might decide to Lash Cannon Frostlass here. I think I'm going to switch in Tauros, and then I'm going to knock off into Indeedee to get as much damage as I can there. And, okay, they actually swap in Pelipper here, and are they going for the Electro Shot? Just knocked off Pelipper's Focus Sash. No, they decide to Snarl with Archaludon for whatever reason. Alright, that's good for us, because Tauros should be faster than both right now. Pelipper can Wide Guard, though. If Pelipper Wide Guards the Earthquake, then we're in a bit of a problem. So I think I'm just going to try Flower Trick into Pelipper, and then get as much Raging Bull damage as I can. Looks like that was going to be our one shot in order to try and get off the side Flower Trick. And we could have Rock Slided. Yeah, because now they get rid of us here. Okay. We're going to bring in Ninetales, and even if they bring in Pelipper to get the rain back, I'm fine with clicking... I really clicked Rock Slide last time. That would have been such a good play. Wait, they're Stalwart. They're not stamina. That changes things. I think I'm just going to Raging Bull and then... Flash Cannon's so easy here. I think I have to Terra Water and Aurora Veil. Because they're going to bring in... Oh, but they bring in Pelipper, so I can't Aurora Veil. And then the Electro Shot again. Electro Shot. Yeah, I played that one really stupid. Okay, definitely some not great plays there. However, now that I know they're pretty comfortable switching into Indeedee and giving me the chance to proc Tauros' Anger Point, I am more than fine leading Meowscarada, Tauros, and then having Ninetales and Frostlass in the back, because I think this is the most ideal combination. This time they're going to lead Espeon and Pelipper, but who's the biggest threat here? I think it's Pelipper. Oh, they could just switch in Indeedee and click Expanding Force, though. Dang, Espeon's kind of fast. I'm going to knock off into Espeon, and then swap Ninetales to get rid of the weather. Okay, Espeon protects. What does Pelipper do? Pelipper lands the Hurricane into Ninetales. Okay. The Terra Psychic on Espeon. Let's knock off and then... Man, it would have been so easy last turn just to get off the Meowscarada Tauros attack there. This turn we can set up the Aurora Veil unless they're max speed, but let's try it. They swap Chestnut. Chestnut gets rid of its leftovers and the Weather Ball Meowscarada. Okay. Could Terra Steel with Chestnut here, but I think my best move is swap in Frostlass and then Freeze Dry the Pelipper. As they swap in Archaludon. Man, this person's like inside my head. I don't know what they're doing. I'm gonna switcheroo the Chestnut so that if it, it can only log into one thing for the rest of the game. And then double Blizzard both. So that'll do some good damage at least. Flash Cannon to Frostlass, and we get a Spadef drop. And a Body Press. So Chestnut is still slow, so it should be slower than Tauros, which means that we can go for the... Depends how fast Archaludon is. I'm just gonna have... Wait, no, we can't, because Tauros can't currently get off its Anger Point. I think I have to Frost Breath the Chestnut and... Earthquake here. Earthquake's gonna do some damage. We Frost Breath, we get the crit at least. Now Espeon's on the field, and Espeon is very fast. However, they can't do the Expanding Force. So what I can do is I can Frost Breath, and we know Meowscarada can take Espeon. Don't think Meowscarada can finish Archaludon though. They haven't Wide Guarded a single time. I'm gonna Rock Slide. I'm doing it. I'm gonna do a heckin' Rock Slide. Okay, we do get the Rock Slide. Espeon flinches, which is at least a little bit of luck that we needed as they finish off Pelipper. And we now know that Tauros is faster than Espeon, which means I'm going to try Frost Breath crit into Archaludon, and then... Do we live the Earthquake with our Frostlass? I don't think so, but I want the Earthquake anyways. Earthquake takes out Espeon, but it also takes out Frostlass. Archaludon Flash Cannons, but that's resisted. And now we have Meowscarada in the back. Meowscarada can Flower Trick into Archaludon, and we can Iron Head into Archaludon. Okay, that one went a lot better, even though I thought it was not going to there for a little bit there at the start. Let's try to bring this one home with Meowscarada, Tauros, Ninetales, and who else? Frostlass did do work last time. Yeah, I think we just bring Frostlass again. The obvious counter to me leading Meowscarada Tauros is that they bring Expanding Force Espeon this time. But Espeon's actually slower, so they can't do that. Chestnut's tanky. So is Espeon, but I think I can Protect and... what? Body Press, I guess? But let's side Flower Trick Tauros and then Earthquake for as much damage as we can get. So they bring in Pelipper here, sure, but now we have our attack on Tauros activated. So we're going to do a lot of damage to ourselves, but we're going to do at least some chip damage to Chestnut. Chestnut can't take out Tauros here, Because it's Terra Steel. Are they planning to use Pelipper? But we can just Flower Trick and we can just double Pelipper here if we're really concerned about Pelipper. Let's Flower Trick Pelipper, and it doesn't make any sense for them to Wide Guard here. So I'm gonna Rock Slide. We might get a flinch on the Chestnut. Chestnut decides to Spiky Shield this turn. We Flower Trick, and as long as we don't miss... Oh, we missed the Rock Slide! And they Tailwind. That's not good. I think I have to count on the Sucker Punch KOing Pelipper now and go for the Raging Bull into Tauros. They Wide Guarded this time, at least. That means they Body Press into Meowscarada. But we get to Raging Bull and the Chestnut. But with the rain, it's just not enough. I think I'm going to bring in Ninetales here and trust that Ninetales can Freeze Dry the Pelipper, because they have to go for Hurricane if they want to get... Should I switch out Tauros here? I mean, I guess I can, because they have Espeon in the back. They haven't revealed a 4th Mon yet. But if we can get Pelipper... I think it's worth switching in Frostlass here. They Hurricane, but they miss, maybe because of the 70% miss, but maybe because of the Snow Cloak. Either way, they miss, and they Body Press in the Frostlass, which allows us to save Tauros for outside of Tailwind time. They bring back Espeon. They are like screaming at me that they're going to be expanding Force and DD in the back. Which means I think I need to use the Terra Steel and Frostlass in order to live this turn, and then try and get rid of Chestnut. So I'm going to go for the Aurora Veil and Terra Steel and Frost Breath into Chestnut. Okay, they do swap in DD here. And they Psychic with Espeon. Expanding Force that misses Frostmoth, but we went Terra Steel in order to resist it. So now Tauros is coming back in. And Tauros can at least... Yeah, I mean, they're going to click Expanding Force. We can at least KO and DD. Or we can use Rock Slide to try and get a flinch on Espeon. If we get a flinch on Espeon, we're actually golden. But I don't think the Rock Slide will cause us to KO the DD. So I'm just going to Raging Bull and double the Espeon here. Raging Bull, Espeon, uses Expanding Force. Whoa! Even though that's resistant hit, that still did so much. Frost Breath, Chestnut. But the Espeon gets us. Wow, okay, I did not expect the Expanding Force to do so much into us, even though we resisted it, but I guess it is Terra Psychic. So what I should have done during this game, I think, is I should have swapped. After I got the attack off with Meowscarada, I think... Is that one turn that Pelipper got up Tailwind? Oh, because we missed the Rock Slide. Yeah, if we didn't miss the Rock Slide, we won this game 100% of the time, which... Yeah, that's just unfortunate. I could have guaranteed attacking with Tauros by using, I guess, Iron Head, but... Sometimes you just lose those, but it's whatever at this point. Okay, bit of a balanced team here, except they have Final Gambit Ape, which can ruin a lot of stuff that I want to do. They don't have any way to negate priority, though. We could do Frostlass Tauros lead, and then... Actually, their Electabuzz is Follow Me Terra Dragon, so I can't... It's also Vital Spirit. The fact that it's a Follow Me Pokemon here is really annoying. I think I should lead Meowscarada and Frostlass, and then have... but there's Shadow Claw on the Monkey, though. And then have Tauros, and then have... Palvin can be kind of useful here. Let's... this is difficult. They definitely have to call Meowscarada Tauros lead or something like that here. Which leads me to believe that they would lead Annihilate. And if they lead Annihilate, let's just do Meowscarada, Tauros, Ninetales, and Rotom back and see what happens. The Rillaboom is Truce Band, so it doesn't fake out. They lead Primarina Electabuzz. I'm kind of okay with this. Because this means we can knock off their Electabuzz, and then I can bring in Ninetales to do Ninetales things. They decide to protect Primarina on this turn, so we get the free knockoff into Electabuzz. And what does Electabuzz do? It Electro-webs Meowscarada. Okay. Now let's Flower Trick Primarina, and let's get up Aurora... they just taunt Ninetales, because now Ninetales is slower. That's fun, I guess. We deal some damage, they deal some damage into us. But now we can afford to have Rotom in play. The Rotom's combination of Blizzard, we can just Blizzard spam for a bit. Primarina protects, and who are the... Oh, we freeze the Electabuzz, not that that's about to matter, but... Wait, they also didn't follow me turn 1, so I could have... I guess it depends on how fast Tauros is. In comes Annihilape, and Annihilape gets to take out one Pokemon for free, pretty much, unless we predict them correctly. I'm gonna predict... Oh, I can't predict, because they're just gonna do it in Ninetales. I'm gonna Thunderbolt, Primarina, and... Blizzard, because I think I'm okay with giving up Ninetales at this point. If they do decide to Final Gambit with Annihilate. Okay, oh no, they Final Gambit into Rotom instead. So we get the Blizzard off into Primarina, which means I should have gone for the Freeze Dry. But now it's their Bactumons versus my Bactumons, and I have a Tauros where they have a Rillaboom, and their Rillaboom is Choice Banded, but we have Snow Up. So I think I can just hit Rillaboom with the Raging Bull. Oh, they haven't Terra'd yet, though. I can also just protect Ninetales now. I think... Oh, Earthquake's damage is reduced, though. I think I'm just going to Rock Slide and then protect Ninetales. Okay, Rillaboom does go Terrafire. It's Primarina protects. Rock Slide misses Rillaboom, though. Which is pretty annoying. Now our Snow is gone. But they are now locked into Woodhammer, which means that Tauros just needs to get rid of Primarina here. So let's double Primarina. Actually, wait. Oh, I could have used Terra Flying. Oh, Woodhammer takes... I didn't use my Terra yet. I could have just used Terra Flying to make it... Oh, no, I guess that Moonblast just KOs. Well, that was rather unfortunate. Alright, well, I made a lot of calls incorrectly that last game. But this time I'm going to leave Meowscarada Tauros, and I'm just going to... We're just gonna do it. Alright, me not doing Meowscarada Tauros has cost me a number of games. This time we're just gonna do it. And nobody's gonna stop me. They lead Primarina Annihilape. So the most logical thing is for them to Final Gambit into Tauros. But I can... They don't have any way to negate priority right now, so I can just Sucker Punch into... Oh, they might just decide to Hyper Voice with Primarina, though. Let's Flower Trick, and we can Sucker Punch to lower Annihilape's health to make it so that Anger Point Tauros lives. Or we could Ally Switch, but Ally Switch doesn't really benefit us here. They're Terra Steel and Primarina. I think we Flower Trick Primarina and Earthquake. Okay, they close combat Meowscarada instead, which means I should have just done the combination. Because now that's gonna hit Primarina for super low, and Earthquake activates. But they are forced to close combat with Annihilape. So what comes in? Volcarona comes in. We are either Speed Tied with Volcarona, or it's faster than us. Could Aurora Veil here. I don't see much downside in clicking Aurora Veil. Let's Aurora Veil, and... We can't go Terra Dragon because we can just Blizzard. Or maybe I should just Blizzard outright. Let's Blizzard and Rock Slide, because I think that covers a lot. And do we Speed Tie Volcarona? We're not going to find out yet, but... Okay, we don't. We're either faster than Volcarona, or we win the Speed Tie. And then finally is Electabuzz. Just kind of sitting here. I'm glad they didn't Flower Trick, because I think I would still live the Flower Trick, but we had a little bit extra health just in case they did more damage with a higher roll on close combat. So they didn't Terra, so now we use Blizzard and Raging Bull, and Electabuzz is just kind of still here. So this time if our opponent is going to lead with Annihilate, then I am fine leading with Palafin, and then having Meowscarada, Tauros, and Ninetales in the back. Do lead Annihilate, but they also lead Electabuzz here, which I find to be a little confusing. Let's swap out Palafin for Ninetales, and then let's click the knockoff into... Actually, I don't think they're going to follow me. So I'm going to make a play here to Jet Punch Annihilate and to knock off Annihilate. We get Punch. The final game of Palafin, but Palafin lives. And we knock off Electabuzz. She got its Eviolite. They Electro Web, but Palafin's kind of done its job, even though everything on the field is slow now. But who cares about being faster than Tauros? I think it's just Volcarona. And we can Rock Slide to deal damage to Volcarona, and we have Ninetales in the back in case they go Terra... in case they go Terra Dragon here. And they do have Heat Wave. But in order to Bug Buzz us, they'd have to target Tauros here. So we're gonna Ally Switch and try and get off the Rock Slide. They go Terra Dragon. Electabuzz does not redirect. And they Quiver Dance. Okay. And they Volt Switch Tauros. Man, there's been so many times here where I could have just got... Should I just get off the strat? Because I just Ally Switched. Shouldn't they be afraid of me, like, doing that? I'm gonna go for the... Alright, yeah, we do lose. Do we actually... Oh, we actually just lose. If I had just went for the Flower Trick on the turn that I... Heat Wave can miss. Would... Oh wait, no, they're locked into high horsepower right now. So it's just Blizzard anyways. They Bug Buzz Ninetales, maybe thinking that I was gonna Terra Water? However, Rillaboom doesn't die from the Blizzard, so it doesn't change anything. Unless I Terra Water here. No, actually, the Bug Buzz will still kill. Yeah. Man, that stinks. Ugh. If I just side Flower Tricked into Tauros, then we would have won. Because I would have taken down Volcarona. Alright, well, I will admit I did not play great with this team that I made an hour ago. And there were so many times where I should have just clicked side Flower Trick into Tauros and I would have won the game instantly. And I think my opponents did not respect that option enough. I mean, come on, they had their Fallen Mimons on the field and everything. But I guess that's just the thing with running Flower Trick Tauros, is if your opponent is having something on the field that keeps you from getting the combo off, then you won't get the combo off. I'm just disappointed. I'm so disappointed that I just was never able to click the combo and then just win. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked it, maybe consider leaving a like on the video and even consider subscribing, because both of those things help me out an absolute ton. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.